Welcome back to the second half. I sure hope you enjoyed the first half. The first time I did any stand-up comedy, I was 54 years old. It came about because my niece, who was then in her 30s, had entered a humor speech contest, and I'd gone to see it. She was so fantastic. It was suggested to her by others, as well as me, that she really, really should be doing stand-up comedy. Then it became a case of, well, I'll do it if you do it, between her and I. So I asked her, if I find us a venue, would she perform with me? She said yes, and I did. We gave ourselves a name. We became the Wise Ass Comedy Runts, spelt with a Z. After performing in many areas around Chilliwack as well as Chilliwack, we were hired to host a weekly comedy event at one of the local hotels. It's since changed owners and names, nothing to do with us. We were told that we could bring in other comics, but there was to be no foul language. Well, I personally never used foul language in my stand-up, and my niece didn't normally, except for this one time. She wrote this song, and in this song, she used the F word once. Okay, so now picture this. It's our first night. My niece is on stage. She's singing her little song, and just as she drops the F-bomb, in walks the manager, followed by the owners. Ooh! We were fired the next day, naturally. Well, we thought that was pretty funny, so we added it to our resume. Speaking of, our next guest is also a stand-up comic with a much more intensive resume than I ever had. And I'm really anxious to explore and find out where her comedy career has taken her. Time for us to get to know Laurie James. Laurie, thanks so much for agreeing to be on the show. This is awesome.
Thank you for inviting me. This is great.
How would you like to have a seat over here?
I will.
You don't have to, but it makes it easier for the camera.
Yes.
And for the interview. So this is great, Laurie. Thanks. By the way, everyone, Laurie is part of the team here. She is a production assistant for the show. So that's really cool.
Yes.
After reading your resume, I just want to get right into your comedy career because it totally fascinated me. The first thing I read was that you are the Canada's first female stand-up comedian.
Yes. Nobody else was doing comedy, not even any guys, when I decided, oh, I can do this. I can do this. Of course, you start out and you're pretty awful. But I said, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. And so there was various venues opened up. I started out in Calgary. My first job was at the Elks Club. Mm-hmm. And I stole a lot of jokes from Bob Hope and the Reader's Digest.
Right, yeah.
Real funny stuff. And then I moved to Vancouver and got in with different people who were putting on little shows here and there, and we did all kinds of things. And
can you remember where the first place was that you performed?
that was the Elks Club in Calgary, and then when I came here, I don't remember where the first place was. I'm not sure, because we did a lot of different private parties and things. We went to Ocala Prison on a Sunday afternoon. We did a show there for the boys. We went out to Haney Correctional Institute. Tommy Chong was with us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he was a 19-year-old kid.
Oh, my gosh.
And I saw him, he came to San Francisco to one of the comedy clubs there.
Well, you're jumping ahead there, like,
yeah.
you know, like.
And so I reminded him of it.
Oh,
and of course, he had a little too much smoking, so he didn't remember too much of anything.
That was pretty funny. But let's just back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were performing in Vancouver, and you mentioned something about bottle under the table clubs.
Oh yeah,
What's
that
that?
was like the Smiling Buddha was one, and that club was there on Hastings for a lot of years, and a friend of mine used to play piano there too, and that was the law because liquor laws in Canada still haven't improved that much, and so you couldn't be served liquor, you ordered. Pop, you know, whatever you wanted, 7-Up, and then you brought your bottle in. You had a big purse. And you brought your bottle in and surreptitiously put it in with your Coca-Cola.
Okay. Now, you mentioned we performed. So who were the we?
Oh, there was other gals. There was a singer. I think she did an imitation of Teresa Brewer or
Yes.
somebody like that at the time. And there was a tap dancer and various
like a variety.
various performers. Yeah, so we'd put on variety shows. And
Right. Did you have an agent?
yes, there was a guy in Vancouver who acted as an agent, and of course he provided all of these venues
Right.
that various ones of us could go there and perform.
So let's say at the most, how many people would be in the group at any one time?
Oh, just 3, 4, 5 at the
Okay.
time, yeah.
Oh, okay, so it was always a small group, right?
Yes,
But did you
yeah.
perform like right across Canada, or was it all?
No, I just, because I went down to San Francisco then a year and a half later, so didn't do anything in the rest of Canada.
Okay, so what took you to San Francisco?
A couple of friends of mine decided they were going down there. We sort of had like a Three Musketeers relationship.
Yeah.
And so we went down there, and I just got stuck there.
Right. So you mentioned Tommy Chong. Were there other comedians that we would maybe know their name that you?
Not from that era. Once I got down to San Francisco, and this was already now the late 80s, early 90s, Margaret Cho
Right, oh.
was one of our
love her.
young kids. She was 19 and wasn't supposed to be in the venue because we were in a venue where there was liquor served.
Right.
But her parents owned the venues.
Oh, she
so
was
we
funny.
had to allow her, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and she was somebody who she was bound determined she was really going to make herself somebody.
So now you went to San Francisco.
Right.
What brought you back to BC or to Canada?
I didn't come back until 2003
Oh.
because I had family up here and I wanted to retire, and came back here, and then you said, no, I don't want to retire. I want to do something.
Yeah, yeah. Are you married? Do you have children, grandchildren, any of the above? None of the above?
I have grandchildren. I have one son. I'm not married. They all die on me, and so.
Oh, like
Or
are
they
you,
just run away.
oh, I'm just going to say, are you like the Black Widow?
Yes.
Where does your son live?
In San Antonio, Texas.
Oh my goodness! So do you get to see him often? Because it's a distance.
It is a long ways. Sometimes it's once a year, sometimes twice a year, and now I'm trying to make it so that I can get down there for 2 months at least in the winter.
Right. Yeah.
And
But it's difficult, right? Because you have to plan it. I mean, it's just
yes.
not getting up and going.
Right.
You have to have first of all the money for the flight or whatever
Right.
it is. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not easy, is it? You
Yes.
know? It's like, you know, I like to spend more time with my son in China, but
Yeah, it's a long trip there too.
yeah. So now another thing you said in your bio is you consider yourself a diehard comedian, correct?
Well, it never leaves you. Once you're a ham, you're always a ham. That's what they say about actors. And so the material is always going through your head.
Yeah.
There's always something that you're writing, you hear something, or I hear or see other comedians say, oh yeah, and then you hear a joke, you say, well, I can build on that.
Right.
It's not really stealing their material, but you put your switch onto that
Just
same
gives you
subject.
Yeah, gives you an idea of how to work with that.
Sure.
Right. Okay.
Sure.
One of the things I was wondering about is how were you treated as a female by maybe male performers or even wherever you were hired? Was there?
Well, years ago, when there just weren't any female comedians, even in the beginning of the 1980s, when I lived in Vancouver and we performed at the Punchlines,
Right.
was down in Gastown. There was one other gal who came. The rest were just all guys. So it took a long time before a lot of women really said, okay, yeah, I'm brave enough, I can do this. And
Yeah, it's interesting. But how were the people around you, the males? Did they treat you good?
Oh,
As a
yes.
fellow comedian?
Oh, yeah.
There's no like you don't belong here type of thing?
No,
Oh.
I never experienced that.
That's good because
Yeah.
often when women are stepping into a role that's traditionally was done
Yes.
by males,
Yes.
sometimes you get that
Right,
non-acceptance.
right. My life started out as a Baptist preacher's kid, so you were always front and center, and you always had to be performing for the people.
Right.
And I think that's what kind of encouraged me or propelled you, not just encouraged, propelled you, you had to be on stage. After a while, it's like, well, how come nobody's looking at me? I have to be out there performing. And so that's, I think, what has carried me a long way in my wanting to do.
Yeah.
And then, like you, I was a Toastmaster for 13 years, and so you're publicly speaking and...
Great. So are you doing comedy now? Are you currently performing?
I am hoping to get a show together here shortly.
Right. Okay, that's good. So, so it'll be in Chilliwack?
Yes, and now I hear there's a comedy club in Abbotsford. There's one in New West, I think. So there's so many more venues popping up.
Right. So if you can possibly explain this to somebody who's not a performer, who's not on stage, what it feels like to be there, to be on stage performing, whether it's comedy or acting, whatever like that. Can you explain that for people who's never experienced it?
I think once you have that ham in you, it's, for a single performer, it's the applause.
Right.
When you get that applause, and not just the applause, it's the laughter.
Yes.
When you get the people laughing at what you're doing, then it says, okay, yeah, I can do this. Qualifies you.
Right. Okay.
So that's your payback. If I can just give you a little bit of advice from Saskatchewan.
Yes.
Never use a cow chip on the 4th of July for playing Frisbee.
You heard it first here, folks. Oh, I think it was first, I don't know. But listen, Laurie, again, we're out of time, and thank you for watching. Now, you know that we love hearing from you, and that information is always provided, so phone, text, which way it goes for you. We'll hope to see you next time, right here on Getting to Know You. See you then. Peace out.
Bye.